The markets have sold off significantly. What are the charts showing us? We need to talk about it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and do you know why farmers get so upset about the game Duck, Duck, Goose? It's all the foul language. Alright, in this video, I'm going to take a look at the indices and talk about some critical support levels. Also, I'm going to talk about some of the big tech that's out there. So Tesla and Apple are two of them. Nvidia is the other one. And then also, I'm going to tell you about the Patreon where you can see my buys and sells and how I'm playing this market. You can also see my options course and also tell you about where you can learn about upping your technical analysis trading game. So in the meantime, I do want to get into the charts on this. So we're going to jump into it with SPY being the first thing. And we got the hourly chart that we're looking at to see what to watch for today and moving forward from here. So if we bounce off of 468 and we start to rise back up this way, we want to be watchful just in the back of our minds, not in the front of our minds on this one. There's absolutely no build to the head and shoulders yet. We have a shoulder ahead to this, but we need the other shoulder to even have anything to worry about. We need to return back down to the neckline to really be worried about it and then breaking down through that neckline in order to have that formation confirmed. So watching this, we can play it out and we can plan with our options plays out there, or if you're somebody to go short or long, you can do that in the markets with the direct shares themselves. That's all up to you. In the meantime, these pink lines that we have here are the critical supports, one of them being at 465, the other one being at 455, that we want to hold at least one of those in order to have a lot of bullishness still left to go in the markets. Ideally, this top one at 465. And then moving down to 455 would be another one of those values that if we bounce off that would be a significant bounce based off of what we had for the highs back at the end of 2021 into 2022. Moving over to QQQ, again, looking at the hourly chart for this one, the two critical supports we have, one of them is at 397, the other one is down at 393. Bouncing off of either one of those is going to be a good thing for us. And moving out to the daily chart, just real quick to show you this formation off the peaks that we have. This is something that looks a little bit like a rising wedge pattern, which after a while, after this fills out, could signal that next drop. So it's just, again, one of those back of the mind things, sort of like the possible head and shoulders things that we saw with SPY that we just want to be watchful for. And then we'll talk later about trend lines should we come close to either one of them. Moving over to IWM, tracking the Russell 2000, we're looking at the weekly chart on this. We're still in bullish territory as per the weekly chart. Let's go down to the daily chart. And when we look at the daily chart, we crossed down through the first critical support, which is at about 196 to 197. The second one was down here at 192. We haven't gotten there yet, and that's based off the range trade that we actually had on the Russell 2000 stocks. We broke out of that range up here with this part of it, and then now we broke back down into that range, but we had that critical support, like I said, at 192. Getting a bounce off of that could be a very good thing for letting the market settle a little bit, coming back from that overbought territory. Right now, the RSI is near 50, and you should absolutely keep watching the RSI to see what's going on. Like I said, on a weekly basis, still bullish. On a daily basis, bullish, but on the borderline between bullish and flipping bearish. So in that settling, we could find actually a decent bounce coming out of that. There's still room and reason to believe that we could return to a bullish scenario within the near-term trading days. So we're going to have to watch for that one. And I do think that January could still possibly good for us. Again, economic reports and the Q4 earnings. Moving over to Tesla, we're looking at the weekly chart. Watch the RSI. I'm going to keep reminding you we're finding support at 238, and that's a good thing. And keep on watching the moving averages as well. The big ones on a day-to-day basis would be the 50 EMA, which we broke down through, but we saw the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA on here on the daily chart as support. So we still are in bullish territory, but we got to be watching them. The 50 SMA is inflecting just a little bit upward, showing a little bit of bullishness there. And the 200 is still moving upward as well. Upward slopes still bullish, and we're above them bullish. So for Tesla, short term, we could possibly set a little more. That RSI isn't all that convincing, being that it crossed down below 50. But if we do catch support at that 238, then we could rally from there. We just need to watch and see. Tesla has their earnings towards the end of the month, and I'll put up my Tesla stock price prediction and earnings projection up on the Patreon today. So I'm really excited about that. So the Patreon, not only do I put my Tesla stuff up there, but also my Nvidia stock price prediction and earnings projection. I'll talk about Nvidia in just a moment. Also, the Discord that's there, I post my buys and sells in that Discord. Come on over and talk to me and the community members that are over there and see what I'm buying and selling. And if you want to learn about options and learn how to amplify the power of your portfolio through those options, you can do that using my options course. And if you want to learn more about technical analysis, Stockmo and I are collaborating on this technical analysis course. I made up some videos about options that he's going to toss in there, and I'm very excited about that, being able to collaborate with him and be able to actually be part of this course as well. It really is incredible, and it's so clean and easy and able to be worked with, and the information is so straightforward and it's nice, small, digestible pieces. And the Discord that's attached to that is also a wonderful community where people are able to talk and ask questions and support each other, able to share their victories, able to support each other in those moments of learning and in the moments that it didn't quite go as well as they had hoped. It's a good time. It's a good place. Let's get back into the charts on this one. So, moving over from Tesla to Nvidia. Nvidia, we might possibly, just maybe, have a little inverse head and shoulders happening here. We're going to have to find out. We're looking at the hourly charts here. We'll see if we end up holding on to about that 475 level. We have resistance at 480. We got to be watching for that one and breaking up above that. As a matter of fact, we have a little bit of a neckline happening here as well. And so a little bit slanted for us, but breaking up above that, it could be a very good thing, especially if we find this trend line right here coming off the handle part of the cup and handle that was happening, and then the market sold off, and I said Nvidia would move with the markets. So we need the markets to find strength and return to strength, and Nvidia, I think, is also going to move along with it. And so just keep an eye on this one, especially if the markets rebound. Nvidia will likely also rebound. As far as a long-term hold, Nvidia is one of my favorite companies that's out there, leading in the AI space with the massive movement towards AI and AI hardware, and Nvidia is at the forefront of that. Apple's having a rough time right now, but check out this trend line. This is the trend line that you should be watching. Watch for us to come down and test 180. If we do, we could take a significant bounce from there. If we sell down through 180, then going out to the daily chart is going to show us a little bit more about that. The daily chart, that 200 is the next thing to watch, but you'll notice a little bit of confluence between the trend line and the 200-day. Apple does not, in a bullish environment, stay down below the 200 very long. You can look through to 2022 where we're actually down below it, and we made a nice little double bottom with a W shape here, and look at what happened following that. So we can keep on playing the technicals and take a look ahead at what we think is going to happen. Moving over into Bitcoin, man, we ended up right back in this formation. We peaked out of the top, had a little bit of visit out of the bottom of it, shook a few people out of this, and this is the daily chart, the 50-day that we're looking at right here. Looking in good shape for us, and we do want to see what part of this trend line we break out of. Still waiting on that Bitcoin ETF decision, and I think that for me, straddle, strangle on Mara, for example, now that the price is settled on that, might be one of those things that ends up profitable for me. Even though I don't pick a single direction, it could still be one of those things that could pay off quite handsomely over the next several days. As a matter of fact, we are just under a week from the deadline for that decision of January 10th, so be on the lookout for that news to drop. Ethereum's still hanging in there, even though it broke down through the trend line that we have here. It still caught support right about 2150. AVAX, the head and shoulders, it played out for a little bit right now. We're still down below that. The RSI is down in bearish territory. We're going to see if support holds for us right at about $34 per AVAX. And Solana found its way to almost back to 100, but right now it has 100 as a key resistance level, so be watching for that. And then this blue trend line is also what to watch for. We might get squeezed between the two of them, and then we need to watch and see where we end up popping out of. As a matter of fact, we're starting to form a trend line on Solana here, and not great yet, but we could watch that form out over time. We're just going to have to wait and see. This is the daily chart that we're looking at, so you can shrink it down to the hourly chart if you need to look and see if we follow it even better than what's there. But like I said, all that is going to play out over time, and Solana is going to move wildly with what we see with whatever happens to come out for Bitcoin for that ETF decision. So guys, keep watching those indices, watch those critical support levels that I had talked about. Tesla, still bullish for right now. We need to keep watching for that. In the short term, it could flip bearish for us, so just be on the lookout for that to happen. Nvidia, I think, is going to take a strong bounce, especially if the markets do, and then Apple could sell off a little bit more. 180 is that critical number for Apple stock. Bitcoin, keep looking for that ETF decision. I'm going to keep on bringing the updates daily onto my channel. Thank you very much guys for watching. If you want to see what I'm buying and selling, that link is down in the description. If you want to learn about technical analysis and talk with me and Stockmo and the other community members over in the Discord about that technical analysis, use the bread recipe that he's been talking about with the EMAs and also the RSI, Bollinger Bands, you name it. It's all over there in the Discord. That link is down in the description. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.